Hi everybody, it's CraftyRia. I want to welcome you back to my channel today. I'm going to recycle some more Christmas cards today. So I took some of these cards out of my stash. They were cards that either somebody gave to me after Christmas or that I received myself for Christmas last year. So we're going to make a few of these today. I'm almost out of card bases and I need to make a couple more, but I want to actually show you how I make my card bases. I use just regular 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is the pack. I get it at Walmart. It is, I think it's less than $5, so it's really a good deal. It's 110 weight and there are 150 sheets in the pack, so it's very inexpensive. And I usually buy 2 packs at a time when I go to Walmart because I don't go that often. But that's exactly what I use just for my card bases. I'm sure there are other types and other brands that are just as inexpensive and just as good. That's just what I happen to have. So I'm going to get my scoring board out. You don't need a scoring board. You can just fold the paper in half if you don't have one. I like it because it gives a good crisp fold. And this scoring board happens to come with its own scoring tool. I like a thicker score, or a wider score or whatever, I don't know. So I like to use my bone folder. It had a little adhesive on it that I was cutting. I like to use this. So I just line it up and I score it in half, and it's 8.5 wide. So I'm going to score it at 4.5. And then I have 2 of them. I want to make 4 card bases, so I'm going to score this one at 4.25 as well, which is half of 8.5. And then I'll get that out of the way. You can also use a ruler and a butter knife if you want to score and do it on something soft like a magazine. I have everything falling over here. Okay, all right. So then I have it scored. And if you see the paper, it now has an indentation on this side. And the proper way to really fold it, because you've already stretched those fibers, is to fold it with the bump inside. It seems kind of backwards, but that is the real proper way to fold it. And it should fold really nice. And then I just use the scoring tool just to push that down. And as you can see, it lays nice and flat. If you fold it the other way and score it, it will not lay as flat, because you've pushed those fibers and you've stretched them in such a way that it pulls them out this way, and then it can fold the rest of the way. So when you have that, those fibers are pulled this way and then they can fold. It's really cool, actually. And then I'm just going to cut these in half. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to line it up at 5.5. 5.5, not 6.5, 5.5, since my paper is 8 inches long, 11 inches long, and just cut it in half. And same thing here at 5.5. And then I just line it up here at the ruler at 5.5 and cut. And again, you can use a craft knife and a cutting board or a cutting mat and a ruler if you don't have a fancy paper trimmer. And I had 2 left over, so I have 6. I don't think we'll make that many, but it's a good to get us started. I always like to keep a bunch of extra, because then when I get inspired to make a card, I don't have to bother doing that. I'll usually make 10 or 20 at a time. All right, so we have this, and I have some of these cards. This was a free sample card that I got, and I know these cards seem big compared to this small card. And the reason I do this small card is because this is the standard A2 size card. And you can buy envelopes like this. I bought these at Joann. You can order them on Amazon or any place that sells craft supplies or office supplies. And this is the A2. The envelopes are 4 3/8 by 5 3/4, which is just a little bigger than 4 1/2 by 4 1/4 and by 5 1/2. Okay, so we have these cards, and I think I'm going to do this one first because it's really cute and funny and not as traditional. So what I want to do with this, I made a template so I can easily show you on camera. The big line is the size of the card, and then the other lines are as if it was matted or double matted. They're 1/8 of an inch smaller, each one's 1/8 of an inch and then 1/4 of an inch. All right, so I'm going to measure this card. I think I want a little bit of a blue border on top and a little bit of a blue border on bottom, and I'm going to cut it right to each edge. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut the spine off the card. And then I've got the inside and the outside, and I always save the inside if I can to use as the sentiment inside my card. So I'm just going to cut this out. And if the back had something cute on it, I would save that as well. This is just white, so I'm going to throw it away. Now this white piece would be great for stamping. It's a nice piece of cardstock. The back is glossy, but the front is not. It's almost like a satin finish. So that would be great to save to stamp something on, to stamp an image on. So if you're a stamper, you can go ahead and hang on to that. I'm going to cut this down just a little bit more, because I think that that sentiment is really good. It goes with this card on the inside. I think it'll be perfect. So I'm going to set this over here so I have it. So now I'm going to cut this card out. And like I said, I was going to keep just a small border on the top and a little more of a border on the bottom because I kind of have an idea what I want to do with this one. So I'm going to start by cutting this border at the top. And then I have to decide. I think that will work. I think that's going to be good. I'm going to cut this card at, the card is 5 1/2. If I cut it at 5 1/4, I can see here how much room I have. I'm going to make this border on the top a little smaller so I have more room on the bottom. So I'm going to go with 5 1/4 there. And I have a bigger piece at the bottom. And then I'm going to cut it to 4 inches this way. So I'm going to cut right up to this black line to begin with and see where I'm at. And then I'm going to cut this side right to this black line. And that gives me just a little more than 4 inches. Let me see what it looks like on the base. I think I want to go in a little bit on each side. I'm going to cut probably that black line right off on each side, and I think that will do it. Another little sliver. What's great about this type of a paper cutter, you can just cut just the smallest sliver off. Okay. The card's backwards, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, there we go. And I kind of like the way that looks. I'm going to save this largest piece of blue, possibly. since these corners are rounded, I thought I would round the corners of the rest of the card. I have this corner rounder punch by We Are Memory Keepers, and it has 3 different sizes. And I'm going to use this one over here, the 7mm. So I usually turn it upside down. I stick my card in there and I make sure it's lined up, and I punch, and then you have a perfectly rounded corner. I tried doing this without it being upside down where I can see it, and all I kept doing was messing it up. I thought the punch was bad, but it turns out it's just me that's bad. Okay, so there we have that. I think that looks kind of cute. And then I thought I would put a decoration down here. And I happen to have these ribbons. I use these over and over again. These are from Dollar Tree. They have them in all different colors. I have a blue and a silver, and I didn't know which one I would like on this card. The blue is kind of pretty, and I know the silver is going to look good too. I kind of like the blue. I think it really stands out pretty good on this card. I don't use the blue for too many things, so it's kind of nice that I have it now. And these do give you a little bit of glitter fallout, so just be warned. You'll have a little glitter everywhere, but they're so pretty. If you don't mind a little glitter fallout, I would highly recommend them. Okay, so got that. And it's a little wrinkled, so I don't know if you can see this. I run it along my table like this. Along the edge of the table like that. And now you can see it's pretty flat. It's not really wrinkled. It's wrinkled on the back, but not on the front. There. That's the way I quickly iron something when I don't have an iron. I'm going to use my tape runner and just run a strip of tape here. Adhesive, whatever you want to call it. And put it down like that. And I'm going to fold the back in, and I run my adhesive across the whole thing. That way it's a little double layer on there, and then it really holds these pieces in, because then you have tape on tape. There. See how that looks so far? I think that looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it down. And I always make sure I get tape on the outside of this ribbon. That way it's sure to hold and it's not going to come apart. And I make sure my card is opening the right way before I stick this down. All right, I have some other embellishments that I think I want to use. Pardon the crashing behind me. It's a good thing you cannot see how messy my craft room is. Okay, I have some of these stickers. There's some Christmas trees there. And maybe a Christmas tree down, or maybe a reindeer. I think I'm going to do a reindeer down at the bottom. This guy's fallen off. And I think I'm just going to put him here. There we go. And just a little reindeer down at the bottom. I think that's kind of cute. So that really dresses it up. It's really easy. It's very inexpensive, and it's a card you can send out to someone and be proud of. So then for the inside of the card, I do want to use this sentiment, and I'm actually going to trim it up a little. I didn't get it very even. I'm going to trim a little piece off there and a little piece off the bottom. If you do this, just be really careful. Don't cut your fingers off. I don't want to read about you in the newspaper or have you contact my lawyer saying I told you to do that. Well, this I was saving because I thought it would work with that, but it doesn't. So it's going in the trash. I see some more scraps. Nope, those aren't going to work either. I have scraps all over the place. This was from a card I did the other day. And no, that's not going to work either. I have a drawer. These are these 12 by 12 drawers full of paper. Plain paper. I have one of patterned paper and I have one of specialty paper. Just scraps. That's just the tip of the iceberg of all of the things I have. And this piece will work. So I try to save pieces shaped like this. Just for framing these sentiments. Put a little adhesive on the back. If you don't have a tape runner, you can get double-sided tape at the Dollar Tree. You can use a glue stick. You can use glue. This stuff is awesome. This art glitter glue is really, really good. I would suggest it with cardstock and not very thin paper because it can make the paper wrinkle. And I've also used tacky glue, or a good, white glue will work as well in a very small amount. Otherwise your paper will buckle. So there we go. You have that. So I think everybody can recycle cards. You don't need anything special. I use my special stuff because I just happen to have it, but you can use anything you have. Oops. I'm throwing everything around. I don't know if you can hear my dog, Jonah. He's barking at the bird because he's crazy, and the bird's crazy. The bird knows exactly what noise to make to get Jonah going. All right. So there you go. That's my recycled card. Okay, there's one done. See. All right. Then I have these. I think I might go with this Santa because he's really cute and I've been looking at him for days. So I'm going to bring them over to my paper trimmer and cut off the spine. And when I say cut off the spine, I'm just cutting off the folded piece. So I have these two pieces here. And then I'm going to cut out the sentiment. All right. Okay. There's my sentiment. I'll set it over to the side. And then we can check out Mr. Santa and see what we want to do with him. I would like to use him all the way to this edge because I think this edge has more empty space. I don't really want to cut off the reindeer, and I don't want to cut off his feet. So if I use the smallest line, I would be cutting off the front of his foot. So I think I'm going to go with the middle line and not mat it on anything else. All right, so I'm going to cut it all the way. I'm going to cut the silver piece off. And then along the bottom, I'm going to cut the silver piece off, like right up to the bottom of his feet. I'm going to take off as much as I can with preserving his feet. And then this way, I'm going to go up to 5 1/4. No, that I can't do that. That's going to cut off his head. I'm going to go right above his head. Let me see how much of his feet I'm going to have to take off. I'm going to have to take a little bit of his feet off. I'm going to take a little bit more off above his head. And that brings me right to 5 1/2. See if I take a little bit more. I'm going to take just the bottom piece of his feet off. I'm going to get one of my card bases and see where we're at here. Okay, that'll work. That does give me a little bit of a border. And then I'm going to cut this so I'm at about just a little more than 4. Or right at 4. I don't know why my measurements were not very good before. Okay, there we have that. I'll take another sliver off of this blank edge. There we go. All right. That is not bad. Okay. So I'm going to adhere this down since I'm not going to be matting it, or I'm not going to be adding any ribbon. However, I do want to do something to decorate this card. So I'm going to come over here and get my stickles. I have red. I keep them stored in this. It's a nail polish caddy. I keep them stored in here upside down, so they're always at the ready. And I have this red, and I thought I would do the red along the reindeer reins. I'm going to get a piece of my scrap out. Dig through my trash. Okay. I always start my stickles on a piece of paper that is not my project. And I'm going to go ahead and just add some stickles to the reins. And then I'm going to do some gold on his buckle. The gold is so pretty. It really is one of my favorite stickles. There, it works great. And I'll put that on his buckle. All right. And then I thought I would make those snowflakes be shimmery. And I have some of this. It's kind of an icicle color. And then there's a bunch of snow falling. So I'm just going to go over a few of these bigger snowflakes. Just to add some sparkle and shimmer to the card. All right. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of randomly adding them where there's snowflakes. There. So that's not a super embellished card, but it's really pretty. And when those stickles dry, they will be really, really sparkly. You won't see that clear glue in them anymore. So I'm going to set this aside where I won't accidentally put something on top of it to dry. All right, I'm going to do one more and then I will stop the video. I don't want to bore anybody. I think the last one I made went a little bit too long and I did not time this one, so I don't know how long I've been taping already. So I have this train, and this was a card somebody had sent me. They had torn the top off and then there's tape on it, and the tape is covering this Merry Christmas, and I'm afraid if I take the tape off it's going to rip the card, but that's okay since I'm going to use one of these smaller cards anyway. There would not be room for Merry Christmas on there, so I'm going to cut it out this way. The bottom part of the card and the side part of the card are kind of flat. They're not embossed. I don't know if you can see that these little trees are embossed and this church is embossed, but there's like a flat border around the edge. I'm going to cut that border off to begin with, since I'm not going to have it all the way around. I don't want to make it look like I have a cut apart card when I really do. So I'm going to cut off the border on that side and on this side. I have to work on doing something to make my paper trimmer a little quieter. And then I want to do probably a double border. So I want to make it this way to be 5 inches instead of 5 1/4. But if I do that, I'm going to end up cutting off the very beginning of the train. So I can lose a little bit of this tree and it won't affect the overall picture. There, and you can still obviously tell it's a tree, and that gives plenty of room over here. So let's see where I would be if I did it at 5. Yeah, that leaves a little room. I might even take more towards the tip of the tree there. And then I will cut this at 5. There. And that way you still have the tree and the people. You still have all these people over here skating. And then there's a little room in front of the train. And then I'm going to see how this looks if I do this at 4. That gives me plenty of room. So I'm going to cut this at 4. Actually, I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4, since I do want to leave extra room for a mat. There. Pardon my messy desk. Okay. So then we have that. And that gives 1/4 inch all the way around, but I'm going to do a mat. And then the mat will be 1/8 inch all the way around. I have no idea what I want to mat it with. So let me go through my papers. This blue I think looks really good. I'm going to set that aside as a possibility. That's not big enough. Let me look in my glitter paper. See what I have. That's regular paper. I've used most of these. I like that blue, but I used most of my papers in making cards earlier this year. I have a bigger piece of this if I need it. This is just my kind of my scrap pile. I also have this, which is a silvery color, which might work as well. I'll put that aside. Let me get my other glitter paper. If we had a live, you guys would be telling me what to do, I'm sure. This is a shimmer paper in blue, but I don't think it's the right shade. No, it's not. And this is that paper. It's a little bigger piece. I'm not sure I like it. Not really. I find that when I use some of these, it's really hard to adhere the paper down to it, and it makes the card front very stiff. So I don't like to use it too much on cards. These aren't going to be the right blues in here. Okay. So I have to decide between these two. That blue just about matches perfectly, and this is more of a silver. So I could go with that. That'll give it a little bit of a glitz. Or I could go with this blue. I think I like the blue. The blue wins. So I know that I want to cut this to fit in between them, and I know it's going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut it at 4, and then I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. And I'm going to save that piece to mat the inside. Oh no, I did something wrong. That's 5 1/4. I did it by 4 1/2. There's 4. There we go. I don't know why I did that. That was weird. Anyway, there. And then it fits on there perfectly as well. All right. I hope everybody gets inspired by this and you recycle and reuse your cards. If you don't recycle your own, please donate them to someone who will recycle them. Sometimes schools and nursing homes and that sort of thing will use them. Or you can give them to a crafty friend that will use them. It's a shame to throw a lot of these beautiful cards away. They really do have nice images and they make nice new cards. Or they make little boxes. Some people make boxes out of them, or gift tags. There's lots of things people can do with these really pretty images. All right, so we have that on there, but I still don't think it's done. So I have to do something else to it. So I'm going to get out my bag of tricks here. And let me see what I've got in here. Don't know if I want a snowflake on it. Or I'm thinking I might want to, this tree has multiple little ornaments on it, and I think I might be able to make those sparkle. I have some of these. These are on strands, and they're all different colors. But I'm thinking I could, it's hard to see, kind of just stick them down randomly up and down this tree. I might have to take them apart because it'll look too much like, oh, I know what I could do. I can make it look like garland and not have to take each one apart. I think that's what I'll do. Okay. So I just put that as a strand and a little piece of garland like there. And then I'm going to go up to this piece and make that a piece, and then one more piece up here. And then I'm going to put this gold one, no, that's a pink one up at the top. There, I'm putting some more down at the bottom. There. So that way that decorated the tree a little bit. That added a little bit of fun and decoration to the tree. Although I still think the top should be gold, but I don't have a single gold one, so I'm not going to worry about it. No stress. This is no stress working here. I have some of these in gold, and they're bigger, and I thought I would put one for the front of the train. I have one of Jonah's hairs on it. There. And then I think maybe one of these snowflakes over here. Let's see what I have. I have blue ones. I like to do things in threes. I can have 3 snowflakes. I could either line them up. No, I like them scattered. I find in crafting, if you line things up, they have to be lined up perfectly. Otherwise, you might as well put them random. Because if they're random, they look like they're meant to be all willy-nilly and not perfect. All right, so I'm going to put these 3 like that. These are from the Dollar Tree. They come in clear and they come in this blue color. And they have adhesive on the back, which is really nice. I put on my Christmas wish list for one of those little things that you use to attach bling. It's a little, like it looks like a big fat needle. And that would be really cool. All right, so we have this blinged up a little bit. He's got his headlight. We have some big snowflakes and some decorations on the tree. So today we made 3 cards. that one, and that one, and this one. There we go. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Please also give me a thumbs up, because why not? That is fun. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you plan to do with your Christmas cards at the end of the season. Take care. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.